Now, joining me to help understand the math behind $1 trillion is Danica McKellar. She is the author and bestseller of what's the name of your book?
I got two books. I got Math Doesn't Suck and Kiss My Math.
You are. Do you recognize her face, America? If you watch the Wonder Years. Now here's the thing. I think America has a problem with a couple of things. One.
Yes.
They don't know what their principles are. They have no idea.
I was so inspired by what you were saying. It's
really?
True. People are willing to give up freedom for security, and now it looks like we don't even have security, right?
I think I love her more than when she was on the Wonder Years. Okay, but here's the other problem. The other problem is these numbers don't mean anything.
Yes, the numbers start because, you know, and part of the problem with numbers not meaning anything is because this country loves math illiteracy for whatever reason. People are proud to say, oh, I can't do math. But nobody would ever say, oh, I can't read. Like, you'd never hear that.
So but now you're a math genius.
I do love math. I didn't used to love math. In middle school, I used to struggle with math. And what I want to do is take the stigma off of math, especially for girls, especially for kids, because our next generations that are going to get into our next spring, whenever that is, they need to be comfortable with numbers.
So
in fact, the fear of numbers, I think, is something that continues through adulthood, and then when people ignore the numbers, when young adults ignore the percents on their credit cards or their mortgage, contracts they're getting, when they don't understand that because they're still doing everything they can to ignore numbers, they get in trouble.
Help me understand, help America understand, how big is $1 trillion?
$1 trillion is a really, really big number.
I got that.
1,000 has 3 zeros on it, right?
Got it.
1 billion has 9 zeros on it. $1 trillion has 12 zeros on it. They say if you were going to count to 1 billion, it would take approximately 95 years. $1 trillion is 1,000 billion. That would take you 95,000 years. If you had $1 trillion in $1 bills and you were going to count them, it would take you 95,000 years, which means 1,000 generations of people who live to over 100 so they can grow up to be old enough to start counting. 1,000 generations.
So how do we make this understandable that we just spent $4 trillion?
Okay, but the other thing about numbers is that they are relative. So $1 trillion is a lot if you have to count dollar bills. But if you were to distribute that among the United States, the citizenship, man, woman, and child, then you'd end up with giving each of them about $3,300.
So we only spent $3,300 for every man, woman, and child?
Yes.
Per person? Okay.
Well, times 4, I guess.
Yeah, every. Right. What do you mean?
You said $4 trillion, right?
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's $1 trillion. Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. So now we have to pay that off with interest, just like a credit card.
Right. Right.
Any idea how long? I mean, because all of the other numbers, the economists say they're projecting that things are going to get.
Just tax everybody an extra $3,300 on their taxes, and we'll be a fourth of the way there. I'm not suggesting that.
That's all you have to do.
Not suggesting that. But that's one of the things. That's the thing about taxes is that you can get big numbers fast. Only the numbers of people.
I think that's the key, though. If you would just say to everybody, if President Obama looked at you and said, America, this means your kids are going to spend $3,300 times 4 for each of you, every member of the family, this is what this is going to cost you, we'd say no. But $4 trillion, for some reason, we say okay.
Well, because it doesn't mean anything. It's just a number. We hear these numbers all the time. And the news uses numbers for shock value in one direction or another. And not this show.
Yeah, no, we're not in shock at all.
Other shows,
not at all.
Use numbers to sound impressive, and sometimes they are, and sometimes they aren't. You have to divide it by the number of people it's affecting.
What are you doing now? You're writing books?
I'm writing books. I've got Math Doesn't Suck, which is for ages 10 to 12 years old. Kiss My Math is for ages 12 to 14. I'm attacking the problem from that age, from that perspective, so that when these kids get older, they will be more responsible with their money, and they'll know that numbers mean power.
I'm just saying I would have listened to this math teacher. All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.